Hello, welcome to another video. My name is Rose if this is your first time here, and I make a lot of videos about stationery, planning, journaling, that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, please subscribe, please like this video. Today I just wanted to share all of the different accessory journals and notebooks that I use. So these aren't like my planners, they're not things that I typically am using every day. Some of them may be weekly, some of them honestly might be weeks or months before I touch them. But I thought this might be helpful for those of you that have a stash of empty notebooks or journals sitting in your stationery supplies. That has certainly been me at certain points in my life, and I know what it's like to, want to find a good use for all of them. So hopefully this can give you a couple ideas, a little bit of inspiration on what you could be using your journals for. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, one note, if you are hearing any scratching or like banging in the background of this video, my apologies. That would be Yuri the tortoise, who is not very far away from me and is extra active today, and kind of seems like he's trying to redecorate his enclosure. So he's banging things around a lot. So apologies if you hear any of that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I've got a bunch in here, but again, like I said, some of these I really don't look in very often at all. But I am going to start with this because this is the thing that I probably look at most often. So this is a A6 Hobonichi cover. It's obviously a one-piece collab design. I'm obsessed with it, Luffy. And I believe this was the 2024 one-piece collab, maybe even 2023. But if you didn't know, you can fit 2 small A6 notebooks in these by putting like the front cover in this front pocket and then putting the back cover of another in the back pocket. So it's split like this. So these are 2 Midori A6 size notebooks. Both of these are, I think, lined. Wait, these are both just lined notebooks, and they fit very nicely in here together. I have tried to put a third notebook in here. You can kind of make it work. It definitely doesn't close flat super nicely, but if that doesn't like bother you a whole lot, you could do that. So what I have in here, this first one is probably the only one I'm going to show you that I don't really have a clear like label for. I think some people would consider this a Commonplace journal. Some people would maybe call it a brain dump journal. I kind of like to think about it as an ideas journal. This is kind of just where I write things down that like I possibly am going to want to refer back to, or if I'm trying to like work through a problem in my head. I keep lists in here, like ongoing lists. Sometimes I take notes on like YouTube videos in here, things I want to remember. It's pretty open-ended. Like this is just my notebook for just anything that I possibly want to remember or refer back to. So I think some people might call that a Commonplace journal. I have a cute little sticker in the back too. I decorated the actual clear cover years ago. And then this other journal in the back here is actually my diary. This is where I keep private thoughts. I do daily journaling in my common planner, but this is for more like emotional writing. You know what I mean? So obviously I'm not going to open this up, but it is just lined. So that's what I keep in this cute Luffy cover. And then let's look at this one. I've shown this one on my channel a number of times actually. This is my long-term to-do list. And I always get questions about where this actual notebook is from. This is a Moleskine. They sell these in like packs of 3, but this specific one, that's the Get Stuff Done one, was a freebie at a work event many, many years ago. I think, oh yeah, it was Mind Body. That's the Mind Body logo. If you know what Mind Body is, it's like dance fitness studio software. And then I obviously just put some Coffee Monster Co. seals on it. But I've used this for a couple different things in the past. But most recently, for the last like year or so, I've been using it as a long-term to-do list. So these are tasks that have to get done that basically are the things that give me anxiety and are stressing me out, or I just like haven't had time to do. Like, I don't know. I think that hopefully that explained that enough. And this basically just allows me to remove these things from my brain, like take away the stress of that overwhelming task looming in my head, and it can live in here. And every week I look at this and I try to tackle like one or two things. And I just like, you know, scratch them off as I do them. And when I reach the bottom of one, I just move on to the next spread and rewrite them, so I have space for more things. I kind of was inspired by Helen from the Coffee Monster Co.'s ADHD notebook. If you've ever seen her talk about that, she kind of uses, I think she actually uses one of these, and she keeps like a detailed to-do list for like when she's feeling overwhelmed. So was inspired a little bit by that, but I would highly recommend doing something like this if you are that person that like always has big scary tasks looming in the back of your head, or maybe not even scary. They're not scary, right? But if you are ADHD and anxious like I am, random things can feel like a way bigger deal than they need to. And this has actually really helped me like tackle that. So that's that. This is my reading journal. Sadly, I have not added anything to this in months. And I did only start this last year, so there's really not that much in this. I used to be a really big reader. The beginning of last year, I was really motivated to read a lot, and I did pretty well in the first couple months, and then I fell off. I haven't read anything, haven't finished a book since June. But yeah, I'm sure this idea is not new to anybody, keeping a reading journal, but yeah, I just am keeping a log of what I've read, and then write my thoughts, you know, start and finish, all that kind of stuff. Highly recommend both of these books. And then at the back, I was keeping a to be read. I haven't looked at this in a while. I think I probably need to update this because I also have a to be read list in my phone just from when I'm like out and about and I hear of books and things. So I definitely need to copy some things that are written in my phone into here. So that's the reading journal. This is a really, really nice, cute notebook from Dreamy Moons. It says you are the universe itself. I have had this for years and years and years. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying about this notebook, really cute. Annie Tarasova, I believe is her last name, is the talented artist that designs this. She's in Australia. I've been a fan of her work for many years, and has silver foil. What's really cool about this notebook is the spreads alternate. So you've got totally blank spread, totally lined spread, and then lined in blank. So you get obviously a lot of variety in here. And I use this as a spirituality journal. So I'm not a religious person, but I do consider myself to be pretty spiritual. I read tarot, I read oracle cards, I'm spiritual in a number of ways. So writing that relates to that, or like if I do a card reading and I want to reflect on it, I'll put it in here. Sometimes I do creative spreads in here. So I'm not going to show you much, but I did. Oh yeah. This was when I was studying the Celtic tree oracle and trying to memorize like the Celtic trees and the alphabet and all that kind of thing, which honestly I need to review. I was taking notes and writing about that in here. So that's how I use this. I don't use this journal a whole lot, but in 2026, I have hopes and dreams of getting back into this journal a lot more and making use of it. So spirituality journal, there's another idea for you. Okay, this one This is not set up. I only put this in here because I know what I'm going to be using this one for. I just haven't started yet. This is a TCMC notebook, obviously, A6 pocket size, and what I am planning on using this for is documenting coffee shops that I go to. I am just obsessed with trying new coffee shops and cafes. It's like truly my happy place in life, is finding a cute little coffee shop and getting a fancy little coffee drink. And I love to journal when I do that. So I wanted to start documenting all the different coffee shops I go to and like what drinks I have and that sort of thing. So that's what this is going to be for. I'm sure once I've got some stuff to actually show you in here, I will share. Okay, next, this little spiral is my Korean studying notebook, which I have not been doing very well with, but there's a lot of random notes in here. Not very well. At one point I was like trying to decorate in here. I don't know why. That's not an effective way to study. I was just like reviewing things, you know, testing myself, writing practice, just a straight up studying notebook. Pretty straightforward. Then we have just two more. So this is my current junk journal, which I actually started not too long ago, and don't come for me for calling it a junk journal when there is very much stationery in here, but there is also junk. To me, a junk journal is just collaging, scrapbooking, using whatever you have, whether it's intended to be craft supplies or actual junk. So that's what this is. I really like my cover. I need to put some more tape on the back, to be honest. This was a repurposed notebook because I always repurpose notebooks when I start a new junk journal, because I definitely have a bunch of half-used notebooks. So I would highly encourage you to do that as well. Especially if you're watching this video and you don't have a bunch of empty and blank notebooks and you're like, ooh, but I want to start a new notebook. Take a look at ones you already have. If you did not use them up, or you only used like half of it, repurpose it. Give it a second life. So that's what this was. I think this was like a college. Oh, this was actually, this is going to sound not real to some of you, but I swear it's real. This notebook was originally my History of American Musical Theater notes for my BFA in commercial dance and dance pedagogy. I laugh because it just doesn't even sound real. So, a little junk journal, current junk journal at least. And then last but not least is this TCMC notebook, which I am using as a recipe book. I haven't updated it in a little bit, and I do have a bunch of recipes that I would like to add to it. But this is where I have been adding recipes that I go back to time and time again. I am a pretty avid user of Pinterest when it comes to cooking. I have all my recipes saved on Pinterest and stuff. But if there is a recipe that I start making like over and over and over again, and I have it basically memorized, that's when I put it in here. So these are like my staples. It says vegan because I am vegan. I've been vegan for, let's see, 2026 will be 9 years later this year. That's actually crazy to think. It's almost been a decade. So the way I've been doing this is, at some point, maybe I'll make an index, but I don't have too much in here yet, so no index yet. But I just write out my ingredients, I write out the steps, and any notes, like if there's variations I like to do, and I also give credit if I got the recipe from somewhere else. This is, I think, the only recipe in here that says by me. Oh yeah, like it's Liv B. This is actually the best chocolate chip recipe that exists. So if you're looking for a good one, it's this one. It's livb.com. I love her stuff. All of her recipes are great. You can see I've had this open by the bits of cookie dough and spilled liquid. another banger. If you like fluffy pancakes, these are from Tasty Co. Yeah. So you get the picture. That's how I have been using this as a little recipe book. Yeah, so like notes. This is a recipe that like I adapted from my mom that isn't normally a vegan recipe. So I just wrote a note like what the adaptation is. And then, yeah, best after being refrigerated and eating it with scoops specifically. Best chip to eat with this dip. So there you have it. Those are all of my accessory journals, everything that I use in conjunction with the planner lineup that I have previously shared. I know this is a lot. Obviously, you do not need all of these notebooks. But again, this is for those of you that are like me and you collect stationery, you somehow have ended up with notebooks and you just want to use them. If you liked this, please let me know in the comments. Please give it a like, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for watching. Bye.